Hi YouTube, it's Linda, and tonight I get to make dinner for 2 nights, and lunch probably for tomorrow also. I'm going to prepare 2 meals. They're both very, very simple, both recipes that you can probably convert any way you want it to, but they're our favorites. But first I got to tell you, I went to Sportsman's Warehouse to get a couple more trays for my dehydrator, and I walk, of course, down the cast iron aisle. I'm kind of addicted to cast iron. I love it. It's like the best cookware. I just really, really like it. I've never had any other cookware that I like as well, although I'd be up for trying. Anyway, so I saw this bread pan and I said, I don't need bread pans, but I don't think my bread pans would hold up to an open flame or to heat off of a campfire. So I'm gonna, and I've got big enough Dutch ovens, I could put this in there and bake my bread. So I was pretty excited. I'm easy to please. So what I've got here are, the first dish I'm gonna do is Chukar Picante. But, or get prepared for. But you also can do this with chicken or turkey. It doesn't have to be picante sauce. Turkey and chicken are just fine. I'm going to start deboning these. Usually I debone them, but these were the last of the season, and by then I'm tired of boning all these little guys because it's not very big. This is the breast. So you can see how small the breast is. There's 3 in here. 3 is plenty for this recipe, and most of the time, you know, you need about 3 for a meal. But now I have taken these and pounded them out and made like a piccata, and you know, did the cutlet thing with these, and that is fabulous also. I just use them any way I use chicken. So they're a little more flavorful than chicken, in my opinion. You got to be careful of the bones. The bones, you know, sometimes the bones get broken. My husband's really good at getting the shot out, so that's always a plus. And then after I get this all boned, I will wash it again because I don't want any remnants of feathers or anything. So I'm just cutting it in bite-sized pieces, and the other things that go in this recipe are pretty fun. When I put this together, you're gonna go, well, how easy is that? And I can tell you it is fabulous. The other recipe that I'm putting together tonight is a shrimp carbonara. Now that will be our dinner for tonight. This picante will be for tomorrow night because my husband can heat it up himself, and I won't have to. I don't get home till late, and generally I don't eat dinner that late, so that way he can just heat it up and he's got a nice home cooked meal. Now tonight's meal and tomorrow's lunch will be the shrimp carbonara, and I'm thawing out the shrimp right now. I have brown rice on the stove for this Chukar Picante because I do serve it over a bed of rice, and I want brown rice takes a while, so I've got that on. These are the little legs and thighs, and it's really a flavorful meat. I know they don't have them all over the country, but if you're in the country or the part of the country where they do have chukar, boy, I'd make friends with the chukar hunter because they are good. And it's good for you. It's lean. There's no fat. I mean, any fat like that fat there, I'm not going to put that in my meal. Alright, I'm back. Now, I've got all the chukar meat boned up. So if you were going to do this with chicken, you could use chicken thighs, you could use chicken breast. It doesn't matter if you can choose turkey, you can use canned chicken. I've done canned chicken out of my food storage, you know, the stuff that I've canned, so it's not that big a deal. Now, I don't know if you've watched the other video where I make my own brown sugar. I believe I saw Bear Prepper does that also. I cannot stand it when I pay the amount it costs for brown sugar and then it gets into a rock hard block that I can't undo, and so I just do it myself as I need it. So I've got 3 bone sugar. I would say that that's about a pound and maybe a pound and a half. So a pound and a half of chucker, chicken, turkey, whatever you're going to do. You need this jar of paste picante sauce. And I could make my own, but this is just as simple to go buy it. I buy the medium spicy. You're also going to need some yellow mustard. I know this sounds really weird. Everybody looks at this recipe and says, huh? So I want 3 tablespoons. So at the bottom of this baking dish, I go 1, 2, 3. And I want 3 tablespoons. That's how I eyeball it. I want 3 tablespoons of sugar, brown sugar. So I did actually kind of measure that out, only not with the, the measuring spoon. I'm going to drizzle in some molasses. Whoa, that's plenty. And probably, I might make more brown sugar than I thought, because this looks like it's going to be way more than I need of molasses. So I just take the fork and work it into the sugar. And yes, I've got to add more sugar because that was a brand new jar of molasses and it came out really fast, which that's all right, no biggie. I'll have some for tomorrow or the next day the other thing is too, I don't know if you guys have ever looked at the difference in price. Brown sugar costs a whole lot more than plain old white sugar. So I'm going to just keep working that molasses into the brown sugar, or into the sugar to make it brown sugar. And when I've got it where it will, it's sticky like brown sugar, but it comes apart, I'm good. Measurement 1, 2, and how about that? 3. Now, if I had never done this recipe before, I would totally do measuring skills. And so 3 tablespoons is what it calls for, 3 and 3. And then you want, this is a, let's see, a 24-ounce jar of picante sauce. Let's see if I can get it open. There we go. And you mix that in. And it sounds like an odd combination, but the picante sauce is kind of a sweet and spicy sauce. Picante sauce. Let's see if I can get it open. There we go. And you mix that in. And it sounds like an odd combination, but the picante sauce is kind of a sweet and spicy sauce. So this isn't a hot dish at all. It's flavorful. Nuh-uh. It's flavorful, but yet it's not overpowering. It's not too spicy. It's just right. And the sweetness from the brown sugar and the tanginess from the mustard. I want to see it change color a little bit. So, and then I'll give it a little taste. Yeah, looking really good. And all that sugar breaks up. So if you didn't get your sugar just right, your brown sugar ratio or whatever, you didn't get all finished mixing it, just like the marinade the other day, it's okay, no biggie. Okay, I'm going to taste this. Perfect. Okay, so now all we have to do, I mean, it's this easy, and you can do this on a weeknight with chicken. All we have to do is put this chucker meat in here, and I'm going to bake it at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. I want all those pieces are bite-sized pieces, but I want that meat cooked through and through. You don't want any poultry, regardless of what it is, rare, raw, medium, whatever. You want it well done. So chucker, really, it has no fat, and so if you didn't do it in some kind of sauce, you'd be sorry. It'd be so dry and just tasteless. So this is going to go into my oven. And I use my little, it's like an oversized toaster oven. It will rotisserie 2 chickens, so I use it more than I use my big oven. The only time I really use my big oven is in the winter time or when I'm really doing a lot of stuff. It does just fine. It bakes my bread, it does everything, and it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg. It's like half the cost of my big oven. So this is going to go in there for about 40 minutes. I'll check it at 40 minutes, make sure it's up to temperature. And I use the same guidelines as I would for chicken. So chicken breast goes really fast like this. And if you did this out of canned chicken that you've canned, how fast would that be? All you have to do is heat it through and have some rice ready. I serve the picante, Chukar Picante, or if you were going to do chicken, I always serve it over rice, and I always serve it with some kind of corn, and either I will rehydrate red bell peppers, I'll put a fresh one in there. I didn't happen to have a fresh one, and I don't really want to mess with the rehydration time tonight. I just want to get my meal for tomorrow done, right? So I break up all these corn pieces that are kind of chunks. And this, my husband absolutely loves corn, so he's always, this is a treat. Now, could you use frozen corn or canned corn? Absolutely. A lot of times I'll get the shoe cake, canned corn. You could use your dehydrated corn, and I'll tell you what, I dehydrated a bunch of frozen corn. Now, when I rehydrated it, I was kind of disappointed because it stays kind of chewy. And I don't mind on most things, but I was disappointed. It did not rehydrate back to a form that I was happy with, even in a soup or a stew. So, you know, we'll eat that, especially if you're hungry, you're going to eat it. But fresh corn and canned corn, when you dehydrate this, and it's so pretty, oh my gosh, so good this time of year. If you dehydrate this now, and I might do a whole bunch, because that's only 3 ears. I can dehydrate 20 ears of corn on my dehydrator probably, and really have a nice store. But it rehydrates back. You would never ever know that it was ever dehydrated in the first place. So I highly recommend dehydrating corn, canned or fresh. So now what I do, because I don't have any peppers that I want to focus on that rehydration process, I'm going to try really hard to open this jar. Let me get something to help me open it. It's only when you have a camera on you that this sort of stuff really takes place. There we go. And we hear a big pop. And these are pimentos, which is a pepper. I'll drain any excess liquid, but it doesn't matter. The corn's gonna just make up for it. And we're gonna stir that around and make sure that we've got a nice, beautiful little corn salad, basically. I hope this inspires you guys. It's not that hard to make a really nice meal. Very healthy and delicious. It's actually really good. I don't know, can I speak?